Hello there guys, welcome back to another tutorial. In today's tutorial we are going to look at advanced Git and GitHub commands. So in this video this is what I'm going to be doing. Okay, so let's get started. So in the last video I spoke about how to implement that is how to do basic commands using Git. So you may want to check that video out if you are just starting out. But in this video we are going to look at some advanced commands you can use within Git and GitHub. So let's get started. So the first thing you can see, I've opened my VS Code text editor. So it's the one that we are going to use as our we are going to use the terminal, so the command line interface, so that we can type the commands and get started. As well, I've also opened my GitHub account. So if you don't have a GitHub account, it's just easy. You just need to go to github.com and then create one. Alright, so let's get started. So the first thing is, let me open my terminal like that. So you can see this is my terminal, and here I have different tools that I can use within my terminal. So here I have PowerShell, Git, Bash, command prompt from the Windows, of course, and then some other ones, but we're interested in either PowerShell or Git Bash. But since I installed Git, so I'm going to use Git Bash. I also explained in the other video how to install Git, and something so easy. You just need to go to Git, their website, and then just download that software from there. Okay, so what we're going to do in this video, we're going to create a project. Let's say, for example, you are creating a project from scratch and you want to track the files from the starting up to the end, and then that is you want to track your files, and then later on you want to push all that files into a remote repository. So that's what you're going to do in this project. Now this applies, for example, when you are working with other developers and you want to collaborate. So you want to be able to let's say somebody is making this part of code and the other one is making that other part of code. So you want to be able to collaborate, so that, for example, if I push this particular code to this particular branch, another one pushes to this other branch, we cannot match the branches together and be able to obtain one thing. So all that is what you're going to be learning in this tutorial. So these are a bit of an advanced tutorial, so you may want to check the basic one before you get started with this one. So the first thing we're going to do is just to create a repo. So I'm going to come here. So just come to here, click new repository. So to take you to this particular page, so here I just have my name, and then you give the repository name. So I'm going to give this one as Acme project, like that, and then we are good to go. Here you can either make it public or private, but I'll make it public because we're just doing a demo. I'm also going to add a readme file, although it's not that necessary, but it's also necessary actually, because here you can explain, like you can write a description of your project. Yeah, let's say, for example, you are sharing your code to other developers. You may want to explain to them step by step how you went about it and all that. Add.git ignore, this one is you can hide certain files not to be tracked, as well not to be pushed into your remote repository. So those files are always going to be hidden. So this also helps very much if you want to hide certain files and so forth. Okay, so let's just click create the repo, and that is good to go. Now, since we have now created the repo, this is Acme project, right? You can see we have the readme. So within the readme here we can do some things. For example, we can say this is the Acme project, something like that, just for illustration. And then here you just need to come and commit the changes. You can write an additional or description and so forth, and then you just click commit changes. So here I'm just going to click commit changes, and then this one will just have, this is the Acme project, just something just to illustrate, but then just need to know that we have already created the repository on our GitHub account. So now the next thing here, we want to create a local repo with the git bash. So here, now since I've created the remote repository, so I want to also to create that is a local file, a local folder, which has the same name as Acme project. Now this one is, as I've said, you are making a project, so you have a folder, that folder has files. So that's what you're doing here. So mkdir, that is for Windows. So here I'm going to type the Acme project. Or before we do that, now there's another thing you need to know. We can either be in a particular drive. For example, you can see mine here. You can see mine here. I have 4 drives here. I have C, D, F, right? And then there's another one there that, okay, and also the videos and photos, which happens to be the G one. So here I'm going to do it on our softwares here. So I'm going to make this folder here on the software. So that is F. So I'm going to navigate it to F like that. Should be that way. And then now here is going to take me to F like that. So I'm already now in the local drive F. So here I'm going to type mkdir, and then I'm going to type the name of the project, which is Acme project. So that command is okay. Now, so that tells you that we have already now created a folder here. Let me just remove that. So here we have created a folder, should be here with the title Acme project. I don't know, let me see if it's there. Yeah, it's already there. So it's here. It has been created today at 6:20 a.m. Alright, so let's continue. So that is now the starting of our project. So now here we can also cd, that is cd is our current directory, so we can go to that particular folder and see what is in that folder. Or in other words, now we are already in that particular folder. There's nothing there, so we can type ls and there's nothing. So let me just clear this. So now what I can do here, since I'm creating a local repository within the Git, I'm going to run this command git init. So what git init does, it initializes our project and it sets up a .git file here. So now since we have done that, now when you come here, you can see we are going to have a .git file, so that now we can begin creating other files. Now the next step here I want to do is just to synchronize the repos. So what I want to do is that I want to link the repos. Remember, we have created one on the GitHub, so I want to link them together. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to copy the HTTPS link for this project here. So I'm going to come here. So let's go to the repo. So click on code, and then here you're going to get the HTTPS. So this one is the one that I'm going to copy, and then here I'm going to type this command git remote add origin. So add origin, and then add the HTTPS link, and then click enter. So now it has added them. Okay, so now once that is done, now it has just added, but now we need to fetch all the files from the central repo to a local repo. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to type this command git pull origin, Now mine should be either main or master. So let me just see. So you can see my current branch, the first branch is it's main. So here I'm not going to use master, I'm going to use main here, and then we are good to go. All right, so what has happened here, we have linked it has fetched all the files from the central repo to our local repo. Let me just clear that. Okay, so now we have linked the two files together. We have fetched the local that is, we have fetched all the files from the central repo to local repo. So now what we can do, you can check what has been updated on the folder. So type ls, and here we only see that we have the readme, and we know what the readme says from the from what, yeah, so we already know what it says. This is the Acme project, remember what I had written. So now that shows that we have linked, we have fetched any file that was on the remote repository to our local repo. Now let's go to another feature here. Now you can also make changes. Remember, now after doing all those as setting up, now you can also make changes. For example, now let's say we have Acme as our project, as our folder project that we have created. First of all, let me just use VS Code. So this one, just to open that particular folder here. So now this one will bring another new Windows, so I can close that one and just wait for this other one here. Okay, so now we are on this one here. Let me just open the terminal again. Now we have the readme and we know what it says. This is the Acme project. Okay, so so what we can do here is that we can start making changes. For example, let's say I'm creating an HTML website. So here I have index.html, and then here I can just use that markup just to create some dummy text like this. So you can see you can have something like that. Here, let me go back to Git bash. So now those are the changes that I'm talking about. So the first one is that now here let's just do some something like this is the index page, or let's just say this is the home page, like that. So that is, you can see here we have something u shows untracked. So this file now is untracked. So what we need to do, we need to run several git commands so that we can add this file to our staging area. Then from staging area we add it to our Git local repo and so forth. Now the first command I want us to type is git status. So what git status does is just tells us whatever is on our current file. Let me just take this one up. So that shows you this is the untracked files here is index.html. So that means it has not been added. So we need to use the git add so that the file can start being tracked. So that is so that what it tells you is that the files are added to the index and are ready to commit. So that's what git status does. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to run git add index.html like that, and then now what will happen is that it's going to add, so it lets you add all your files to the index, and then now you can check your status again by running git status. So that tells you now everything is working well. Also the file has been added. As well, you can also use git restore to go back to the same place that you were. Now what has been done is that this file has now been added to what we refer to the staging area, so that now it can be, you can either push it, you can continue tracking and so forth. So let me just clear this up. That is, by the way, you can get all this information, all these commands in my website, webdevtrainee.com. So this is my website. So I've done the same tutorial written. So if you're wondering how to get these commands, I will leave that link in the description below. As you subscribe to this channel and hit the bell for notification and share it with your friends. Alright guys, so let's continue. So so we have done that. So now the next command is just to do the commit. Since we have already run the git add, so commit, what it does is that it just it refers to recording of the snapshots of your repo at a given time. So what you need to understand here, git command, for example, we are going to use something like this. We're going to say first commit, like that. So what it does is that we have done some changes on this file, not changes, but we have added this file to be a track file, and then there are some changes we already made, like for example we wrote this. So what git commit will just, it's a way for you to give a message of what you have done to your current file, so that if somebody is tracking your code, is able to know what you did at this what you did to this file and what changes did you do and so forth. So I'm going to click enter, and then that is going to be done. So you can see that error has disappeared, so that file has now been committed. So you can commit changes to your local repo just like that. Now let me create more files here. So let's say your project has more files, so we can have okay, let me use this command here. So we can use attach about.html. That is one. So that one will create that one. We can also use you can also create another one. Let's say for example my website had a post page, and then we can also do this. We can also, let's say that it also has a contact. I believe there's no website without a contact page, unless it's a portal or something, but we're also going to have, now you can see all these files are untracked files, so that tells you we need to add them and also commit them. Okay, so so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to modify the index.html and run the git status again. So here I'm going to do, let's say I type lorem here, just do a dummy text, then let's click enter now, and let me save that. Now what will happen here, you need to know that now this one is going to show modified. It's not going to show untracked, but this one is going to show modified, because remember we already added this file to our staging area. So let's run git status and see what has happened here. So that will tell you that index.html has been modified, and then we have these files as untracked files. So now how do you add multiple files together in Git? So this is what we do. So to add multiple files together, just need to run this command git add, and then you need to type the hyphen and then the capital A. That will show that you want to add multiple files together. So I'm going to click let me see have they yes, they have been added, because I can see the A. So they have been, yeah, they have been added. We can also do a git status, and let's see, yes, so they have now been added. So that's how we add multiple files together. So, and then now we can do now the commit. So we can give a commit message. So here I'm going to do so I'm going to say something like added 3 new files, something like that, and then we can click enter. So that has been done. So they added 3 files, so we have added them like that. All right, so now now for example, now when we want to see if we have what we have been doing so far, the summary, for example, we want to get a summary of all the commits you have been doing and all that, run this command git log. So what git log does, it will just show you whatever we have been doing. Now this is the last one that we have made at this particular time and month and the day. So it tells you that we have added renew files just now, and then there's a first commit we did, and then remember there's the update we did on the local, that is on the GitHub remote repository. And what else did we do? We also did the initial commit whereby we ran the git init. So that tells you that is what we have been doing so far within this git. So for you to come out there, just press Q, and then we are out of there. Okay, has it gone? Okay, oh, it's the command is incorrect. Okay, so you just need to, okay, so now let's go to another concept called parallel development. So what does it do? So here we are going to deal with branches. For example, we are going to see how can we make a branch or different branches and merge them together within our master branch. So a branch, for example, a branch points us to a specific commit, and we have two types of branches. We have local branches and remote tracking branches. So we can make a branch, make files within that branch, and then merge that branch to our master branch in Git. So enough of the talking, let me just do it practically. So here I'm going to have something like, and so we are on the master branch. Remember, you can see this one here, this shows is the master branch, just like here the main, so which is now our master branch here. So here, for you to make a branch, you just need to indicate a git branch, and then you indicate the branch. So here in this case, this is branch. We are going to create a branch 1, for example. Click enter. So now what has happened is that branch 1 contains all the files that were in the master branch. In other words, whatever was in the master branch is also within the branch 1. So for you to move in between branches, you use this command git checkout, and then here I'm going to have branch 1. So now that has switched to branch 1. Now since now we have moved to that branch, we can also do an ls to see what is there. You can see now whatever was in the master branch has been transferred to the branch 1. So you can see we have about, contact, index, which is the same thing here. So now this is in the branch 1. Okay, so what can we do here? We can create a file in the Acme project within branch 1. For example, here within now branch 1, I'm going to add another file. I'm going to call it policy.html. For example, let's say we have a policy page within our HTML. So I'm going to click that enter. So now this file has been created in branch 1 but not in the master. So for example, if we moved to the master here, let's say git checkout, and then we go to the master. Let me just clear this. So and then we type ls. I'm not going to see policy dot, oh sorry, it's already there. So this one means it has been added also within the master branch. Okay, so okay, so let's just continue. There's something I'm trying to explain to you. So let's just go back to the branch. Let's just go back to branch 1, and then within branch 1, okay, before I show you that, I should not have showed you that, because that file should not exist in the master branch. So what you're going to do here, I'm going to run, after creating the git, that is after creating the policy.html, I'm going to run this command here, git add policy.html, because remember we have we have created a file, so we now need to add that file there. So if I run the ls, we can see it is there. Let me just clear this again, like that. So okay, so I'm going to do the git commit. So when we do the add, we also need to do the git commit, so like that. And then I'm going to have something like making changes in the branch 1, like that. So we have now made changes in branch 1, like that. So now here we can do an ls, like that, and we see we have the policy.html, like that. So now let's go to the master. Remember, now we were seeing that file. I should not have done that in the master branch because I had not done the git add and commit. But now, since I've done the git add and commit, that file is no longer in the master branch. So let's confirm this. So git checkout master, and then the ls. You can see the file is not there because it has only been added to the branch 1. So hope you're getting the understanding here. Okay, so okay, so now that is more, so that is on the ls, that is on the master branch. So so now let's go to merging. So we have done parallel development. Now let's go to merging. So what is merging? So merging is a way to combine the work of different branches together. So it allows you to branch off and develop a new feature and combine it back in. Now what we can do here, let's merge the policy.html to the master branch. So how can we do it? In other words, when you type here, we don't have the policy.html, we only have it in the branch 1. So that tells you this person who is working on a branch, and now he wants to merge this particular this branch to the master branch, so that whatever is on the merge, whatever contents are on the branch can now be pushed to the master branch. So let's merge the policy.html to the master branch. So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to run on the master, so I'm going to do git merge, and then I'm going to write branch 1. So what is going to do, whatever is on the branch 1 will be added to the master branch. So let me click. So that has been done. So when you type the ls on the master, we can see now the master has the policy.html. You can see before here it did not have, now here it has. So that is what we refer to as using git merge, right guys? So so if you want to make changes in a branch, you can do so and come back and merge. For example, let's say you want to make some changes, but you want to make those changes in a branch but not in the master. So let's go to where? Let's go to a branch. So here, let's do the git checkout. So let's go to branch 1. Now in branch 1, I wanted to do some editing. So let's say here I come to policy.html. Remember, we never added even anything here. I think we should have added, but it's okay. So here I'm going to do some this. So this is the policy. This is the policy page, like that. Okay, so now this is the policy page. So this one tells you the file has now been modified. So now remember, we have done it on the branch because we have switched to the branch. So since we have edited this file, what we can do is that we can run a git commit since we have modified. So here I'll just run git commit, and then I'm going to give an -a and then the m for message, and then I'm going to write it as modified policy.html. Maybe I say on line 10, something like that, just a message. Now another thing you need to know, let me just click enter. Another thing you need to know, this is already a track file, so there's no need to run the git add command. Sorry, is it that true? Yes, because you can see now it has already been added. So it is already a track file, it was already created, so we don't need to run git add command. So what we can do is that I can run this command, cat policy.html. What cat command does, it just lets you the file, what is in that file. So you can see here, when you look at it, you can see here we only have, that is whatever we have done so far. So this whatever is here is whatever is being shown here. So that is what we have here. Okay, so let me just clear this. Okay, so now since we have done that, now let's go to the git checkout. Let's go to the master branch in short. So the master branch, so we have now switched in the master branch. Now now since we are now in the master branch, now the modification that we have done has not been affected in the master branch. It only affected the branch, right? So for example, if we run cat policy, again you can see there's nothing, because that happened only in the branch here but not on the master. That's why we can see there's nothing here. When you run the cat policy, nothing is showing, in short. So what can we do so that we can merge this together? So you can run so it's simple. So what you can do, you can run git merge as we did before. So you just run the git merge and then everything will be added. You can see now the file has been added to the master branch. That is not the file, but whatever we updated on the branch has now been merged to the master branch. So think of this when you are developing a code with a group of developers, how good it is when you are doing such a thing. Okay, now let's look at rebasing. Let's look at rebasing. So what is rebasing? Rebasing is a way of combining the work between different branches. So let's say you have different branches and you want to combine these different branches together. Rebasing can be done. So what rebasing does, it just combines the different branches together in a linear format, and compared to merge, right? So let me just do this in an example so that we can see what happens. So let me go to the git checkout. So let's go to branch 1. So branch 1 is there. So let's create some more files. So I'm going to use the touch command. So here I'm going to create services.html like that, and then I'm also going to create another one. Let's say we also have a file like FQ, frequent asked question, like that. So what I'm going to do in these files, I'm going to do some editing here. I'm going to update or write something within this. So this is H1, sorry, so here I'm going to have something like this. This is the FQ page, something like that. And then here, where is the other one we just created, the services? So I'm going to also do that, and then say here this is H1. I'm saying say this is the services page, like that. So okay, so we have done that, and then we have done some, we have just written something. Now since these files are untracked files, remember we have created 2 files, so which command do you think we should use to add the multiple files together? So we are going to run git add, and then the hyphen, and then the capital A. So remember these are untracked files, so we are going to add those files together like that. Now what does even A stand for? Oh, it's added. Okay, so now, so to add the multiple files together, we have done so. So we are now going to run the git commit, and then the git commit, we're going to have the hyphen M and M. Remember the A is for the multiple files and so forth, so they are going to be added in all the files. So adding, let me have a message like adding for rebasing, because we are going to do, so we are doing the rebasing. So that's what we are illustrating in short. And then let me do ls and see. Now that tells you on the branch 1 we have the files added, the FAQ and the services.html. Now let's go to the master branch. So let me look for that command. So now let's go to, so let me go to the master branch. Let's click. Okay, now you can see when you go to the master branch, it doesn't know about these files, because what did we do? You can see deleted. What did we do? Okay, let's go to the master. Okay, so the files are on the, okay, so okay, let's go to the checkout. So on the checkout, we can see here we don't have the, when we go to the checkout master, we don't have the files. Let me just done. Okay, so they are not there. So remember what we are supposed to do. We are supposed to do the merge, but here we are doing down rebasing. So what we are going to do here, let me go back to the to the branch 1. Let me just clear that. So what we are going to do here, I'm going to do a git rebase, and let's see what git rebase does. It does similar thing to merge, but let's see what it does. So git rebase master. So current branch 1 is up to date. What does that show you? It shows you that after running this command on the branch, it shows you that branch 1 is up to date. In other words, there's nothing to add on this file, because all the necessary file we have created already in the branch 1. So what the update only needs to happen on the master branch, but not on the branch. So what we are going to do here, we are going to go to the master branch here, hit checkout master like that, and then once we go to the master, we need to add this file so that it doesn't have in other words, you're going to run this command. You're going to have git rebase and then branch 1 like that. So successfully rebased and updated the reference. So these files have already now been pushed to the master branch. So what happens is that the work of branch 1 has been attached to the master branch and in a linear way. And then here we don't need to do any commits. So now when we do the ls, we can see the files have been added to the master branch. Alright, now now since we have been doing this, all this is in local, now we need to do some pushing. So we need now to push whatever we have been doing on this local to our remote repo here. Remember, we have the same name, Acme project. So you have been doing all these changes within your local repo. So now let's push these changes. So now what we need to do, now you can either create an SSH key. Remember, for example, when you click code here, we have an SSH URL here. Now I did this one on the previous tutorial, so the previous video before this one. So you may want to go and check how to add an SSH and how to create an SSH key within GitHub. So how to add an SSH key, I've already done that tutorial. So you may want to push your files in a secure way. So you may want to do that. So so I'm not going to do that because I already did it in a separate video. So now what you may want to do here, you may want to push your branch separately. For example, when you come to GitHub here, we only have main as our master branch, but you can also have different branches within our GitHub. So we only have one branch here so far, but remember you created a branch 1 here for yours, which has particular files here. So what I'll be doing here is that I'm going to go to, yes, sorry, hope that one did not run. Okay, so here I'm going to go to branch 1. So branch 1, so let's just do a clear so that we can see it well. So branch 1, I'm going to do now I'm in branch 1, so I'm going to push this branch separately. So that's why I'm going to branch 1. So I'm going to run this command git push origin, git push origin, and then here I'm going to have branch 1 like that. So what it's going to do is going to push this one into a branch 1 separately, like so let's just wait for it. All right, so you can see now it has pushed this one into, yes, you can see now it has been updated here. So branch 1 has had recent pushes less than a minute ago. So that is what is in the branch 1. So let's review all branches and let's see. So here we have branch 1, which has now been pushed, and you can see all the files that are in branch 1 and also the commits messages that we did. Yes, okay, so so that one is on a branch separately. So so let's go to git checkout. So let's go to the master branch. So now on the master branch we can also do a push for the master, and this is very easy. So you can also do on the master instead of the branch. So you can do git push, and then you just have to type git push origin master like this, and then what it happens is that all these files are also going to be pushed. Whatever files are in the master branch are also going to be pushed into the master. So that tells you that when you come to the master here, you can see we also have the same file. So we have two files. We have the files in a branch and as well in the master. So we have it in the branch like this and as well in the master. All right, okay, so now what else do we need to do? So we have done the push, so we have pushed whatever we did. Now let's say for example you want to let's say for example you wanted to go back to a previous file. Let's say you did some changes, but you need to go back to the previous file. So how can you do that? How can you do that? So that's what we are going to do in this last section. So we are going to return to a previous files that we had done, that we had edited and added our code. So for example here I'm going to do a demo revert. So what I'm going to do here is that, okay, let me add, I'm going to do it on the, okay, let me do it on the services.html. So here I'm going to add another lorem text, for example, like that, and then just click so this has now been modified. So what do we need to do? So since we did some editing, so I'm going to do a git commit. So I'm going to do a git commit since we edited and added something. So here I'm going to write git commit, and then here I'm going to have let's say something like added lorem text, like that. So I'm just going to do something like that, and then just click like that. Now let me use this cat command to check what we have done on the services.html. So here I can see this is what we have done. So we have added this particular text there. So let me just clear this. Okay, so now, so since we have done that, now, so how do we go back now? For example, we have done these changes here, right? We have added this line of code, but now I want to go back to the h1 line of code. So I only want to go back to the previous file which had the h1 without the adding the lorem text here. How do I do that? So that's what we are looking at. So here I'm going to type git log. So git log, remember, it shows you the summary of all what you have been doing so far. So if you want to go to, for example, to the original file which has only the services page without this, we can see this is the file that we did the changes to, and then we added. Now this is the new file that has been added so far. Okay, the changes so far. So what we can do here, what you do, you copy the first 8 digits of this hash commit hash key, and then you do a git checkout. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy the first, these are 4, and then this is 5, 6, 7, and then 8. So that is okay, let me confirm. Yes, they are 8. So it's up to there. Let's see. Okay, so that's up to, so there are 4 of them. So I'm going to do a copy command. Let me click on Q to move, and then let me just do a clear. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to I've copied the commit hash, the first 8 digits. So I'm going to run git checkout. So I'm going to run a git checkout, and then I'm going to paste the first 8 digits. So which are the first 8 digits? Are these ones. Let me just do the git, that is Control V to paste. And then which file do we want to go back to? So that is services .html. Wait a minute. Okay, let me click enter. So okay, now I get it. Okay, let's do a cat git. There's something cat, okay, .html. Okay, so what I can see here, we are still on the same file, so we did not go back. Okay, let me do this. I think I see where we need to do. So if I run a git log, okay, so this is the file. So I just copied. Okay, this is the file. Let's say, which file is this? Did we do adding for rebasing? Okay, so what we can do is so what we can do here is okay, so what we can do is, let's go back to services page again, and let me add another line of code here. So let me just add another line of code. What do we do? Let me add another p tag. Let's say this is the second paragraph, something like that, and then I click save. Now what I need to do here, I just need to come and do git commit, and then here I'll just need to do something like git commit, and then the message. So I'm going to do added another paragraph. So added another paragraph like that, and then yeah, I think we are good to go. And then I can run cat services.html like that. Okay, so we can see we have added another paragraph on our page here. So let me do a clear like this. Okay, so now let's run the git log again and see. So now let's say we want to go back to this one now. Yeah, I think now this one will make sense for you guys. So I want to go back to this previous file, so I need to copy this 8 hashtag, this 8 hash words here. So that is 4 and then up to there. So let me just copy that one there like that, and let me press Q to come out. Okay, so now what I'll need to do here, I'll need to run a git checkout just like we did before, like that, and then I just need to paste that, and then I just need to indicate the file that I need to go back to, like that, and then let's click. So updated one. So let's do cat services .html, and let's see. Now from here, what do we see? Yeah, you can see now we have gone back to the previous file. So this is another paragraph has been removed, or it has been undone. So now what we have done, we have just gone back again to the previous file. So if you did some changes and you did not like the changes and you want to go back to a previous file, or what you need to do is just go to git log, copy those 8 the hash, that is the hash keywords, and then just run the git checkout with the hash keyword, and then you indicate the file here. It will take you back to the previous file that we have just done. So that is it guys for today's tutorial. So hope you have got something on GitHub. Actually this is a advanced tutorial to get you started with using Git and GitHub, and also do work with the fellow developers and so forth. So guys, like this video and comment, and let's meet in the next tutorial.